Hey guys, it's Inua, and I like books. I like reading books, and I like talking about books after I'm done reading books, and I figured, okay, I'm just gonna start doing this on YouTube. Now, I got this book from the library called Leaving the Saints by Martha Beck. Pretty neat cover, cool picture, cool colors, drew me in. On the flap, it talks about how she gets pregnant with a Down syndrome son. She wants to keep it. She moves back to her hometown of Utah, in Provo, Utah, after having her baby, because she wanted to be close to family and all that. Her and her husband are both from Provo, so I guess it worked out. They got jobs at Brigham Young University. They used to work at Harvard. She was working on getting her PhD in something while she was there. Anyway, this is what Martha Beck looks like. Pretty standard white woman. She's the life coach now. She wasn't during this, at the time the stuff in the book takes place. She has a column in Oprah magazine. She wrote the New York Times best-selling book Expecting Adam. She lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, wait. Before I get down to the nitty-gritty, there's something else. When I looked at the back to read the reviews, I noticed that none of the reviews were from a newspaper, and I'm like, oh, I wonder why that is. It's all from other authors who seem to do spiritual books, self-help, etc., the same type of stuff she does. The book is written so that every other chapter, well, almost, but not always, switches from her talking with her father, in supposed meeting that happened, and between her remembrances of this time in her life. It doesn't work very well, which may partly be because most of the conversations in this book seem ultra unrealistic, which is a little weird because it's supposed to be a work of nonfiction. Her inner dialogue, though, is interesting, written in tone that is engaging and in some instances humorous. Of course, when she talks about God, her spiritual quest, spiritual strength, etc., it gets pretty boring. So anyway, she talks about when she was pregnant with Adam that she knew something was wrong. To quote from the book, she felt as though this incipient child existed in an aspect of reality that did not register with my usual five senses. End quote. She writes about how she starts to believe in spirits, that while pregnant she felt surges of some inexplicable ethereal joy. These feelings made her go from a wishy-washy agnostic to a full-blown believer. One might think that these feelings of happiness, constant joy, of well-being may have been her hormones, that they were making her super happy and giddy. You know, pregnancy hormones. But she claims that no, this was not hormones. That these feelings were given to her by God as a way to say, hey, don't abort that disabled baby. Beck claims that all the doctors she went to while pregnant with Adam were telling her to get an abortion, that having a disabled child would ruin her life. I can't picture any doctor telling a pregnant woman that her life is going to be ruined unless she has an abortion. They wouldn't say something like that. At least I don't think. Maybe he was a really crappy doctor, or maybe she made it up. Once she has Adam, pops him out of her vagina, all these feelings, all these ethereal joys and happiness and feelings of calm and comfort totally disappear. And she's filled with a terrible, painful longing, and she gets very sad and depressed. But oh no, it's not postpartum depression. It's because Adam was a connection to God, and once Adam left her, she couldn't feel God anymore. Not postpartum depression, people. So she kept trying to feel God over and over again. So she decides to go uproot the family, go to Utah, become a full-blown Mormon again, to try to feel these feelings that God gave her. These kind of claims are pretty eye-roll-inducing, especially when you consider the fact that she compares herself to her father all the time, saying how similar they are, how they have the same mannerisms. And then you remember when she wrote that she felt sorry for her father because he feels driven to feel important and needed, and that feeling like that is a sad place that she would know because she has been there. She is still there. Some of these occurrences that she writes about, these godly, spiritual times of feeling him, and this is post-pregnancy, they kind of scream, oh my God, I'm so special. You know, she says that she gets everything she prays for because she found the true and correct way to pray. That's why she gets everything she wants. It really feels like she's bragging about these instances. She even has a psychic moment. She's praying to God, trying to figure out how to get through getting death threats, which may or may not have happened, and feeling scared and confused about the church. And God tells her that someone's gonna come and help her through these tough times, and that they have a D, an A, and an N in their name. 2 days later, 2 of her cousins came to visit her. Their names are Diane and Miranda. They claim they came because they felt peculiarly driven to seek me out. When Beck describes her spiritualism, can't help but wonder if she's making a lot of it up. Now, there is a lot of insider info, supposedly, about the Church of Latter-day Saints, from certain things that you do in wedding ceremonies to Joseph Smith deciphering hieroglyphics, Egyptian. Yeah, you can read Egyptian without those special glasses that helped him read the tablets. These parts, along with describing her alleged post-traumatic stress disorder and how the church intimidated those who question it, come across very believable. And you keep turning the pages to see what happens next, but if you go to Amazon, look at some of the comments, a lot of the claims that Beck says, a lot of her claims might not be true. Her husband, her ex-husband, wrote a review, and he says a lot of the things in the book are made up. Some things never even happened, like her getting threats, the phone being tapped, and that how the entire scene when his parents come to see him after he left the Church of Latter-day Saints was totally made up and did not happen that way at all. So if she made up a whole scene about her husband and that all her death threats that she was getting, all being followed, being spied on by the church, was all false, that's like the whole damn book. That's like the only interesting parts of the book. Do I recommend reading this book? No. If you want to read a book by perhaps a crazy lady, I guess go for it. It's pretty entertaining at times. There's plenty of things to feel superior over. If you're actually reading it looking for factual accounts of the church and how to go on a spiritual quest, don't check it out, don't buy it. I'm sure you could find something better. So, Martha Beck, got my eye on you. And